Well, hey there, Paw Chronicles. Well, today's the day that I've been waiting on for a while. Well, tomorrow will make a week since the beginning of the Paw Festival down Lake Snowden, just outside of Athens and Albany, Ohio, that is. And what I'm getting ready to do is get this out of the bag. Now, some of you that were down there at the festival, you saw this sitting on a table. It was laid out as part of an exhibit which coincided with the presentation that I gave about utilizing rootsuckers in the orchard and utilizing rootsuckers as far as grafting stock. Took me a little while to get this set up, and the reason being is I wanted to make sure I have everything here available to me. I brought the fence, I brought the stake, brought a little tree guard for it, brought some mycorrhiza and fertilizer mix, snips, knife, a little ribbon, and what we're going to do is we're going to reveal this. I'm going to take these metal tags off this bag whenever I get this planted, and then we're going to go ahead and talk for a minute. Move some things around here a little bit, and I've already taken the outer stitch from the bag. Now I have the inner stitch to deal with, and what we're going to do is we're going to get this bag opened up. Let's double check, make sure we're at the right depth. Now we're pretty much there. However, I think it'd be best to put a little bit down there because I suspect some of that dirt's going to be down in the bottom of that bag. The ground is extremely dry. That's the reason why it took me so long to get things set up. Break that up a little bit. Now, one of the things that those of you that were down there heard me mention was I talked about mycorrhizas. The tree itself has mycorrhizas attached to it. But what we're going to do is we're going to put some mycorrhizas mixed with that fertilizer down in the bottom. It's a slow release fertilizer. Oh, and by the way, happy Paw Day. Apparently today is supposed to be National Paw Day. And you see that I'm being generous with this. The fertilizer I got, it won't burn. Now, let's do the reveal. Shenandoah. There, got a good start. You notice how well that went down through there. It's because that outer stitch was out of the way, and I slid that knife down through there, and it was like unzipping a zipper. Now we're going to peel this down and have a look at what we got going on here. And hope it don't come apart. When I plant this, I'm going to treat it like a plug. I'm not going to break the roots up. I'm going to set it down in there, get the root around it, or get the dirt around the root ball itself and leave it alone. And yeah, I can see some root fiber on the outer edge here. Some more root there. A little bit on the dry side. Boy, there's good long root right there. Oh, there. You can almost hear it tear away from the bag. There's some more root back there. Now I'm going to gently reach into the bottom of the bag, and we're going to try to lift it up without breaking it apart. Yeah, I'll show you. Oh. You can see all the roots there. That's what we're after. Let's get it down in the ground. Ooh, it tried to fall apart on me. Watch yourself, Jim. It's pretty much at the right height. Leaning a little bit. There we go. Boy, that's a pretty tree. I have to say that's probably one of the prettiest grafted trees I've done yet. And we're pretty much at the right height. Let me get a little bit of dirt around there. It's always exciting to see good root development, especially since that's one of the things I really do try to work with is root mass. And level this around. I'm going to take some more of this. And like I said, I'm going to be generous with it. I ain't going to be stingy. Because we want to see this tree thrive and survive. I even allowed the water hose to run for a little while to cool it down, because the sun beaming down on that hose could cause issues. I got it set on the low setting. We're going to fill the hole up with water, but we want it to get saturated down in there. A little bit of the dirt at the top kind of broke down a little bit, but that's okay. The root system, when I cut loose a root sucker from the parent tree, the lateral root system It's generally roughly around 6 inches to 8 inches below grade where that lateral root is. And when it starts to develop its own root system, from that point on, it'll start pushing root down. So we're a little bit high, but that's not going to hurt it because I'm going to create a mound. Because as time goes on, that dirt is going to begin to settle and it's going to draw downward and it'll bring it level to the ground. Boy, that's a pretty tree. And I'm going to give it one more layer of mycorrhiza. Because I'm pretty much down at the area where the roots will start. From the lateral root. And as the roots push outward, they'll come across the mycorrhiza inoculant as well as the fertilizer to help to begin to feed this tree. And as dry as it is, once I'm done with this right here, these other trees behind me, hey, since I got the water hose here, I'm going to go ahead and get some watering done today. I tell you, it's a job dragging this hose out here. That's 150 foot of water hose. Now let's get her topped off. A rock. There we go. Yeah, let's get her watered in real good. I'm really pleased with this tree. I think we're about halfway there. Just bear with me, because there is something that I want to talk to you about. There. Remember I said I brought a ribbon out here, and the reason why I brought the ribbon out here, because one thing I am going to do is squeeze this just lightly to get the fence over it, and then I'll take it loose again. So I don't want to take a chance of breaking anything off. Nice and gentle. Squeeze them together. Now this right here is 50% shade cloth. It's a little high because when the sun comes up, I don't want it to burn. And the reason being is because this tree right here was taken care of. Whoops, almost forgot. Was taken care of in the greenhouse. One last thing I did want to do is tree guard. And what is this for? Well, I want to try and protect the tree, the bark of that tree, from a winter scald. Winter winds blow through here and it'll actually burn the bark on that little tree. And in the springtime I'll take it off. But I mostly put it on there to protect it from winter scald. Now let's get the fence on it. Now one side of the fence is only one layer of the 50%. Probably a little more than 1/3 and a little less of 2/3 of the fence on this side has a second layer. And what we're going to do is we're going to situate this to where it's covering the south side, protecting it from the sun as much as possible. And I'm going to turn it just a little bit, orient it, and then on this back side, being the west side, winter winds coming this way, added protection on top of what I just did. That slid over there right nicely. Now, the stake I brought out here and the maul hammer. Now to get my zip ties in place. Got to cut a small slit for the zip ties to get in place there. Now for the bottom side. Hold that up, won't need it no more. bear with me. Okay, there we have it. Now I'll reach down here and get rid of the ribbon. There we go. Boy, it looks good. Put that in my pocket so I don't trash the place up. Now that we gotten that far to this point, there is something that I did want to talk to you about. You know, I don't know if any of you actually seen it or not. The posting about the largest pawpaw and the misunderstandings and all that. Well, what had happened was the individual, when he entered the pawpaw into the competition, they announced that it was a Shenandoah. And in talking with the individual, myself and Austin Cliff, he had told us he was pretty sure that it was a Susquehanna. Well, he said he had to check his records when he got home. So the word went out that he had to check his records. And so we just waited to see what would happen. And when he checked his records, he made contact with the NAPGA and said, well, I believe it was a Potomac. Look, I'm only getting this on different words from here and there, and the only thing I wanted to try to bring out to a lot of you to really think about, some people write down their records, some people write down a map, they draw a map. I've got a template on the back of my yard there in front of my little orchard, and on that template every tree is labeled where that tree is positioned according to that template. It's a map. But another thing that I do to ensure that I know what I have is I mark the tree with a permanent tag, and that's the permanent tag to the tree. Shenandoah 6/28/23. That's when the tree was grafted. Now, as time goes on, we all get older and we begin to forget things. Yes, I can go through here without looking at tags and tell you exactly what every tree I have is. But you know, as time wears on to us, we become forgetful at times, and we may not remember exactly everything as we did when we were younger. And besides that, what if I sell the place and it gets sold to somebody who happens to be an enthusiast for pawpaws, and they would like to know what varieties are out here, and the only resource that they have is my memory? What if my memory is shot? I'm going to take this. I got a piece of galvanized wire, which that's about 25 years before it'll rot away or rust out, and I'm going to place it on to the stake itself. The stake is tethered to the fence which is surrounding the tree, and by having the stake on here, or having that on here, excuse me, the tree is marked. Now, as time goes on, this tree will be uncovered, which next spring I'll take the shade cloth off of it. It won't be necessary. And then let it wake up like it is. And as the tree gets bigger, the fence will come off. I'll probably put something around the fence to or around the tree to protect it from rubbing deer. But we'll worry about that when the time comes. But however, when that happens, the tag will be removed from this stake and it's going to be attached to the tree. It'll hang in the tree. Mark your trees. I can't emphasize that enough. That's very, very important. You know, me personally, if I'm going to take a pawpaw down to the festival and have it judged, because I think A, it's a big one, B, good quality taste, I'm going to know what that is. I'm not going to question to myself and say, well, I believe it's this, or it could be that. No, 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 no. We can't have that. That leaves too many windows open to question what it is that people like me are doing as a grower. No, mark them trees. Know what your trees are. I can't emphasize that enough, you know. And if I'm grafting trees, they're going to be marked what they are whenever I sell that tree to you. And chances are some of them are going to have that metal tag. It's up to you whether or not, if you're going to keep control of what that tree is, you know, keep in mind what your goals are. Some people aren't really worried about what the variety is. They just want a pawpaw. Well, that's fine and dandy. There's seedlings around here that aren't grafted that I'll allow to continue to grow. The biggest one I got back there, that's a seedling, and I haven't grafted it. I left it alone. Why? So I could allow it to pollinate all these others. You need a wild one in there somewhere to bring balance. Well, I got a phone call coming, so I better walk off here. Y'all have a good day.